I moved to live in the States in the 80s, and the very first solo gig that I played in the US was in Memphis, Tennessee. And I've considered myself to be the luckiest person on the planet, you know. Memphis has a festival every year called Memphis in May, and they invite different countries to come and present their music. And this particular year, it was the British Isles. So I was booked to play British folk music and what have you, but also they knew that I did this other thing. So they put me in a bar on Beale Street to play a blues gig. Now, Beale Street is one of the great music streets in the whole of the US. You know, there's Rampart Street and Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and Broadway in New York, and Beale Street in Memphis. Beale Street was a center of the African American culture. And I was just so excited to have this gig, you know. They gave me an all-access pass to the clubs on Beale Street, and on the Friday night I went down there, and in one of the bars on a corner, Albert Lee was playing, the guy who recorded Born Under a Bad Sign, amongst many other things. This unbelievable electric lead guitar player, blues guitar player, playing a flying V upside down and back to front. And he was just playing ridiculously well, and I got as close down to the front of the stage as I could and watched him, and just looked at the audience, and there, right in the front row, smiling away, was B.B. King watching Albert King. And I just thought, right, that's why you're playing so good, you know. And it was incredibly exciting and wonderful for me to see that. Next afternoon, I was playing at the Rum Boogie Cafe, and I was on the same bill as a man called Junior Kimbrough, who played fantastic juke joint trance blues, you know. No chord changes. Chord changes are pretty effete, you know, sign of weakness. And it was this incredibly funky blues music, really, really extraordinarily great. I went to talk to him afterwards, and he's from the Mississippi Hill Country and I'm from Scunthorpe, and I hadn't kind of got my ear in, you know. So I don't think either of us understood a single word the other one said, but it was great to talk to each other. We knew we meant well. And then I did my gig, and after I'd played, a guy came up to me, and his name was Andy Cornett, and he was from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And he said, "Man, we loved what you did. We really loved it. Would you come and play with our band?" And I said, "Well, that's nice. Who's the band?" And he said, "It's Henry Gray and the Cats." Henry, it turned out, was Howling Wolf's piano player. So that one of his piano players. So the thought of playing, you know, with somebody from that lineage was amazing. Over the next 12 years, I played with that band whenever I could. And it was, you never knew who was going to be in the band when you turned up, you know. When I first met Henry, his drummer was this guy, Zach the Cat, who was Henry's friend, and he was just a really great guy. And those two would come and stay at my house in upstate New York, and, you know, we'd just talk and hang out, and I learned so much. And I guess about 12 years after that, I got a call. I was living in New Orleans by then. I got a call, "Would you come and play in Lafayette? We're doing a live record with Henry and the band." And I said, "That'd be fantastic." So, as I say, I never knew who to expect when I turned up to these gigs. On one occasion, I was playing with a guy called Little Buck Senegal, who's a beautiful electric guitar player. You know, I'm standing there going, "Woo, this is good." And this particular night, I turned up to the gig, and they said, "Oh, there's another guitar player in the band tonight." And I said, "Well, who's that?" I said, "Oh, it's Sonny Landreth." And it's like turning up at something and saying there's another scientist on the bill. It's Albert Einstein, you know. I don't think either of us played more than about 3 notes all night. We just kind of go, "No, after you, please." But just before we went on stage, Henry said to me, "I've left my camera out in the car in the parking lot." And I said, "Well, I'll come with you, Henry. We'll go get it," because it's a pretty rough neighborhood, you know. I wanted to look after him because he's just a little old fella, you know. I went outside, and he knew that's what I'd done. And when he got outside the door, and he put his hand in his back pocket and pulled out this little 32 caliber pistol and said, "I always carries my piece. I don't want to hurt nobody, you understand, but I ain't going to stand for no ass whooping." And I said to myself, if I ever write a song about Henry, I'm going to get that into the song. So I've got my little 32 in my waistband. Don't want to hurt nobody, but I ain't going to stand for no ass whooping. Ain't going to stand. Don't want to hurt nobody, but I ain't going to stand for no ass whooping.
Henry Gray and Zach the cat sat on the sofa all day long, watching Mississippi burning all day long. Mississippi burning all day long. Now I never saw such a thing in my life, a 32 bullet and a Barlow knife, lying in the sofa, a big Barlow knife. There was a 32 bullet and a Barlow knife. Oh, Henry Gray and Zach the cat in the university dining hall, looking at a mule collar hanging on the wall. They're talking about a mule collar hanging on the wall. Oh, and Henry Gray says to me, I saw a copperhead moccasin bite my daddy. Henry Gray, he says to me, I saw a copperhead moccasin bite my daddy. Oh, and Henry Gray says to me, you got your black and blue runner and your stingaree. Henry Gray, he says to me, he says, man, all them snakes are out to get me. Henry come from Kenna, Louisiana. He fought for his country in a foreign land, and he come back home, and what do you know? He's gonna play the piano in Chicago. He says, I got my little 32 in my waistband. Don't wanna hurt nobody, but ain't gonna stand for no ass whooping. Ain't gonna stand. I don't wanna hurt nobody, but ain't gonna stand for no ass whooping. Henry Gray and Zach the cat sat on the sofa all day long, watching Mississippi burning all day long. Mississippi burning all day long.